story of the Drunkard. This has been a lot of fun. We've all enjoyed it. And it's nice to have all you people out here see our last performance of this show. A couple of announcements to make. We feel quite honored that we are one of the many little theater groups in the country that have been invited by the National Little Theater Association to present a videotape of our production in a contest amongst all of the ones across the country that will be invited to do this. So tonight we are on video, and we hope that sometime in the future you can see us here in Roseburg on your television set. Another announcement is very important, and you won't have to remind me backstage. There is a beige VW outside that you're going to have to crank when the show's over if you don't get out and turn your lights on. All right, now let's get down here. How many of you have seen a melodrama before? Well, that's a pretty good turnout. But there's a few things I'll tell you about it for those of you that haven't seen it. Melodrama is an art form all its own in the field of theater. And one thing that makes a difference, that you people out here are just as important to the success of this play you're going to see as the people back of the stage, back of the screen here are. Your response to their, what should I say, their actions, is what makes it funny. And we ask you to indulge. And when I ask you to indulge in the play, I mean, let your feelings go. How do you greet the villain when he comes out? Hey, that's pretty good for no rehearsal. Let's do it once more now and see if we can give it just a little bit more. Remember, we're going to be on video. The villain comes out, what do we do? Great. He's going to love you all. He's going to love you. Now, what do we do when the heroine, the sweet little heroine, comes out? We don't need any rehearsal on that. That's terrific. Now, how about the hero, the bright young man that's the savior of everything? Hey, we don't need any rehearsing for that. You people are going to go great. Now, I'm going to bring these three characters out one at a time and introduce them to you. First, where is that villainous villain? Squire Kraft. You're in form tonight, I see. Squire?
Thank you, sir.
All right. Make that audience boo you. Next, we'll have our sweet little heroine come on. Let's hear it for Mary. Isn't she sweet? Mary, they're going to love you, I know. And next, we'll have our heroes. Crowd out there. Give it to them. Now we're going to act one, and don't be backward about showing your emotions. We all love them.
Mother, do not distress yourself so. How can I fail to do so? It was here, in this very chair. Your poor dear father breathed his last. Dear father. Oh, how we love this calm retreat home for so many years of bliss. 'Tis true, this cottage is most dear to us, but we are only the tenants. Our worthy landlord, Mr. Middleton, bought us but little, but now he is no more. It's rumored our little home is to be sold. For my own part, I would gladly bow with resignation to heaven. But when I think that you, my beloved, my only child, will be exposed to the 1,000 temptations of life, a penniless orphan. What was that? Ah, a knock. Dry your tears, my child. We must not let our visitor observe us weeping. Come in. Good morning, sir. Mary, a chair for the squire.
Good morning, Mrs. Wilson. Good morning, my dear young lady.
Good morning, sir.
No doubt you have heard the dreadful news.
Indeed, yes.
'Tis a sad calamity which has befallen the village, my good Mrs. Wilson.
Yes, there's many a poor person I fear will have reason to think so, sir.
You are right. He was a good man, that Mr. Middleton. Many's the time he came to me for the benefit of my legal advice. He was my very dear friend.
It is rumored that he was once very rich, Mr. Cripp.
Thank you. Yes, that's true, when times were good. But bad speculations, unlucky investments, false friends. He died without a penny to pass on to his son. Alas.
Ah, Squire, I perceive you are a good friend.
Who has a heart to feel for the unfortunate? True, madam. It is a character which I have attained, though far be it from me to boast. Now the main reason for my visit is to inquire about your future welfare.
You are most kind, Squire.
Not at all. Not at all. Little does she know the true purpose of my visit. Tell me, my dear Mrs. Wilson, have you any prospect of, that is to say, have you provided?
It's true, too true. The cottage and the garden are to be sold.
Why, what can the young man do, my dear? A gay young man like him, fond of the world, given somewhat to excess, and without any sort of inheritance from his late, lamented father.
Alas, sir, I would say he is very much unlike his poor, dear, departed father.
You are right. Judge, then, of the interest which I take in that last remaining scion of that honored stock. 'Tis fortunate she does not know the true purpose of my interest. But, madam, Edward Middleton, he is young, and he is giddy, wild, and reckless. But I am a plain man, madam, sometimes called too blunt.
Then we must leave the cottage, sir.
Oh, no, not yet, my dear. But it might be wise to be prepared. Edward is inclined to be impulsive, and once he has made up his mind, all my entreaties on your behalf would be of no avail. So it might be prudent to look around for another place before he moves in the matter. And now, heaven bless you.
Father, what are we to do? My child, my poor, poor child.
Well, that view of mock sympathy and charity is over, and I flatter myself pretty well acted too. Yes, the widow and her child must quit the cottage, I'm resolved. First, for the wrongs I years ago endured from old Mr. Wilson, and second, It suits my own interests, and that is what matters above all other considerations. Now, the second stage in my plot, I'll seek out young Middleton and give him the benefit of my advice.
Comfort my daughter. It is a good thing to have a friend in times of trouble. This Mr. Cripps appears to be a very feeling man. Nevertheless, before we take his advice, we would do well to make our proposed trial of this young man, Edward Middleton. Are you ready?
Yes, Mother.
Have you the money in your purse?
It is here. The sum we have saved to purchase fuel for winter.
That will pay off part of the amount owing for rent. When this young man sees we are disposed to deal fairly with him, he may relent. You turn pale, Mary. What ails you, child?
Tis nothing, Mother. It will soon be over. I know it must be done, but this young man has a reputation for being wild and reckless.
Fear not, Mary. Fear not. He must, from family at least, have the manners of a gentleman. And however wild and reckless a youth may be, no gentleman ever insulted a friendless and unprotected woman.
Dear Mother, you give me courage. I tremble at the thought of what I must do. Goodbye, dear Mother.
Go forth, my child, and if thou shouldst fail, return and seek comfort where thou shalt surely find it, in the bosom of thy fond and widowed mother.
I've almost reached the residence of Mr. Edward Middleton. Oh, my poor mother must be deceived. How can a man have pity on the children of poverty? But who is this approaches? 'Tis a gentleman. Much I fear this is the man I seek. Will I ever have the courage to speak? I will pause until he has reached the house.
Good day, son of my old friend. I have been looking for you.
Mr. Cripps, your most obedient servant. You may be sure that any friend of my father's is more than welcome.
Well said, nobly said. I see your father before me when I look on you.
And what may I have the pleasure of doing for you, Mr. Cripps?
A trifling matter, Mr. Middleton. So trivial, I hesitate to bother you with it. Nevertheless, as your late father's legal advisor, I am obliged to do so.
Yes?
It is with regard to the cottage and the lands adjoining. When last we spoke upon the subject,
I was then ignorant that a poor widow and her only child
who are in arrears for rent,
had lived there for many years, and that my father esteemed them most highly.
that may be so, but you must not allow your heart to rule your head, young man. That is a fatal mistake, which has led many a foolish man along the pathway that leads to ruin.
I could not turn them forth upon the world in the present condition of the old lady. She is ailing, and may not be much longer for this world.
Have you not heard of the workhouse?
The workhouse, Mr. Cripps? Certainly not. They must stay in that cottage. It has been their home.
But what of the fences which they have neglected, and the branches of the old birch tree, broken down for firewood?
Enough. All of this has been explained to me by my foster brother William. The fences and the trees were broken down by idle schoolboys.
Ah, on reflection, I believe I now understand you better. I comprehend your plan. We are both men of the world, are we not?
I fail to understand you, sir.
Well, the daughter, sir. A fine girl, eh? Sparkling eyes, dimples, Roguish glances, eh? When I was young. Well, never mind. You have seen her, eh?
I have never seen the girl. Explain yourself, Mr. Cribs.
If you have not seen her, then you will, eh? I understand. Little presents of game from the estate. Mother and daughter grateful. Very grateful. Free access to the cottage at all hours.
You cannot. You must not meet
Why not? Why not?
Mr. Cribs, have you forgotten this girl has no father?
Exactly. A very wild flower growing upon the open heath.
And have you forgotten that she has no brother?
That's it. A garden without a fence. Not a stake standing. You have nothing to do but step inside.
You villain! You cad! You cur!
Sir, I perceive you are put out.
Leave me, old man! Be gone! Be gone!
May the blessings of the widow and fatherless be upon you. May they company for pardon for this wicked man.
The widow's daughter. Now I must practice some artifice. But, Mr. Middleton, you mistake me. I was but suggesting that you might visit these good people and give them the benefit of your manly protection. I cannot endure a woman's tears. Poor, poor child. May heaven bless you and protect you. I'll be doubly revenged for this.
This is the widow's child. Rise, my dear, and be assured of my sympathy for your mother's condition and of my assistance in your hour of need.
Thank you, sir, for your cheering kindness. But I have an errand for you. This is part of the rent, which...
Nay, then, you have not overheard my discourse with the man who's just left us. I have told him that...
Sir, I cannot tell a lie. I overheard it all. We are to remain at the cottage, but is that any reason to withhold from what you are due? Take this, I entreat you. It's only a portion what we owe, but be assured the rest will be paid as soon as busy willing hands are able to earn it.
This girl has quite taken my breath away. She is the most charming, most beautiful girl I've ever had the good fortune to behold. Nay, dear girl, I do not require your money. Be pleased to keep it as a portion of your dowry.
Sir!
If, as you say, you overheard my discourse with that man, then you know that I sometimes speak very plain.
Yes, alas, but it's not our fault the fences broke down. It was not so when my father...
When that vile old man spoke to me of your charms, I heeded him not. But since have I learned for myself what I had heard before. More than ordinary beauty, a charm of mental excellence, noble sentiments. These are the qualities that render you most conspicuous above all other maidens I've ever had the good fortune to behold. When I ask you to keep that money as a portion of your dowry, need I say into whose hands I wish it to fall at last?
Who pretend? To pretend to not understand you, sir, would be out of return for your kindness. And yet...
Mary, my dearest, I've spoken plainly. Now will I venture even further. Master Mary! Could you?
Oh, Edward!
Would you do me the great honor of becoming my wife?
But I've only known you these few moments.
In reality, but in a few moments. But in my dreams have I known you all my life. Marry me, Mary, and we will make your cottage our home, and my foster brother and his poor demented sister will live on mine.
Sir, you overwhelm me. What can I say?
Say yes. Say yes.
All right, Edward. I consent. I will marry you.
Dearest Mary.
Alas, 'tis true. Father Time is the destroyer of female charm. But time is money, so money must be time. And thus we are able, through the use of money,
to bring back the time of our youth. I value my beauty at $50 a year, as that is about what it costs me to keep it in repair. Woman was made for love. They suppose that my heart is not susceptible to the tender passion, but I buy all the novels and the terrible romances, and I read them till my heart is soft as maiden's wax, waiting to receive the cherished image of the one I adore. Ah, if my eyes don't deceive me, there goes his foster brother William past my window. William! Oh, William!
Ah, good day, Miss Spindle.
Would you step inside for a moment, William?
Thank you for having Miss Spindle, but I be on my way.
Tut, William, you naughty boy. Are you trying to avoid me? I take no for an answer. I won't keep you long.
Oh, very well, but I mustn't stop.
Come along in then, William. Have a chair. There's no need to be shy, William. Sit. You are much too modest, I declare.
I be fair modest, and that's a fact. I'd be so modest, I always go to bed without a candle. I tell you.
Would you like me to tell you what I have thought, William?
If he's a mind to, miss, I don't care one way or the other. Would you like a nut?
You are very kind, but I must refuse your generous offer.
Just as he pleases. Ain't no skin off my nose, and that's a fact.
This is what I have thought, William. There are two kinds of men. Do you know what I mean?
I do. There be tall ones and short ones. Like cigars.
You mistake my meaning, William.
What can you mean then? Two kinds of men? I got it. Fat ones and thin ones.
Oh, William, no.
Black ones and white ones.
No, William. What I mean is, there are some men who are warm and susceptible to a woman's charms, while others are cold and apparently insensitive to our beauties. Do you follow me?
Why? Where you be going?
I'm not going anyplace, William. What I'm trying to say is, I have a confession to make to your generous secrecy. I have a trembling affection.
Oh dear, that sounds bad. Has he seen a doctor?
It's not a doctor I need, William. There is this warm yet modest flame.
Trembling infection, warm flame. I figure the old girl's got the fever.
Tell me, dear William, how shall I combat this dear yet relentless foe?
Well, I reckon if you put your feet in a hot mustard bath and cover yourself with warm blankets, you'll be fit as a fiddle by morning.
William?
Well, that be all Mrs. Brown's recipe for the fever, and it ain't never been known to fail, I tell you.
You mistake me, William. I have a passion.
Oh, you mustn't get into a passion, Miss Spindle. It'd be very bad for thy fever.
You will not understand me. I have a passion for one.
Good thing it'll be for one, or you would...
Can you not guess who that one is?
Danged if I can.
He lives
In my house.
Now then, there be I lives there, and my foster brother William, and my poor little sister Agnes. No, it ain't Agnes, it's her as a woman. So then, why? It must be either I or Mr. Middleton. See, I figured that one out all right.
I fear, dear William, I must inform you that you are not the object of my affection.
What a relief. She had a proper word there for a minute. I see. Well then, if it not be I, why, it must be Mr. Middleton.
Mr. Middleton, indeed. Mr. Edward Middleton.
Dang me, she ain't setting her cap on my foster brother. Reckon I better get her talking about something else. That'd be a grand pink dress you'd be wearing, Miss Spindle. It becomes you.
Oh, Mr. William, you shouldn't say things like that.
Right you be, miss. I'll not say nothing no more.
Well, now, William, about the cottage. When are you going to turn out those Wilsons?
Oh, don't you worry, miss. There be someone gonna live there and afore very long. Little does she know be my foster brother, Edward.
I'm certainly happy to hear that. I never could abide those Wilsons, and I understand they haven't paid their rent.
Well, good day to you, Miss Spindle.
Are you leaving me?
That I be. But before I go, let I give you a bit of advice. You must take precious care of thy health, Miss Spindle. Keep thy feet warm, thy head cool, and thy mouth shut. Good day to you.
Vulgar creatures. Well, never mind. I know that my dear, dear Edward is dying of love for me. Of one thing I can be assured, my charms are as yet undecayed. I'm a charmer, a disarmer, and a man. Of all you see, I'm angelic and sirenic. It's no wonder they love me. If you look through all the pages of the books of history, you will find through all the ages famous beauties just like me. I'm a charmer, a disarmer, and the pen of all you see. A beguiler, a Delilah. It's no wonder they love me. Though I'm modest and retiring, there's just one thing I can't deny. If a beauty you're desiring, there's none more fair than I. I'm a child.
Edward Middleton is to marry Mary Wilson this very day. Thus ends my prudent endeavors to get rid of the Wilsons. But young Middleton, there is still some hope of him. I'll do him some unexpected favor, worm myself into his good graces. Then will I invite him into the bar at the village inn, and if he falls, I'll see them begging their bread yet, the wife on her bended knee to me, praying for a morsel of food for her starving children. That will be revenge. Revenge indeed. But who is this approaching? Why, it's his foster brother, Simple William. I'll wheedle him, try the ground before I set my foot on it.
Ah, Squire Chris. Has he seen my poor half-witted sister Agnes?
No, William, my honest fellow, I have not. Nor want to, I vow. She knows too much for my happiness, although I am safe enough now that she has gone mad. But I wish to speak to you for a moment.
What be old razor chops, the one with eye, I wonder. Now, what can I do for you, Squire? I be in a terrible hurry.
Ah, they keep you busy, eh?
Aye, that they do. Has he not heard? Mr. Edward be getting wed this very day. That be a regular dose for the Squire, I reckon.
Yes, I had heard. Delighted at the news. Delighted.
I thought he seemed pleased. Reckon how the Squire looks as though he's full of vinegar and mistake for cider.
Give my kindest regards to Mr. Edward.
Thought I will.
Wait! There is one further matter I wish to discuss with you.
Sir?
Now I know you are a clever fellow, William. Can you show me how clever you are by getting me an invitation to the wedding? Mr. Edward and I had a slight difference of opinion over a trifling matter some months ago, but I am not one to bear a grudge. The wedding would seem an admirable opportunity to bury the hatchet with the son of my old and very dear friend. See what you can do in the matter of the invitation, and here's $1 to drink my health.
Thank you kindly, Squire, but I don't want any of your money.
Very well. No offense. Let's step into the inn together, and we'll drink the health of the young couple.
Squire Fritz, it be my opinion that when your uncle Beelzebub wants to tempt an honest fellow to do a bad action, you better hire a pettifag and bad lawyer to tempt him with a bottle of whiskey. Good day to ye.
For all your apparent stupidity, I perceive you're a clever scoundrel. But I'll get you yet. Just you wait and see, my lad. And who is this? Why, it's his insane sister. She knows too much for my liking. Will the creature never die? Her voice haunts me like the specter of the youth that was engaged to her, whom for my own purposes I ruined. I triumphed over him. He could not resist temptation and fell victim of drink. He died in a drunken fit, and this wretched girl was driven insane.
And Cypress Dell, where the slippery end crawls upon the heather when the weather is as wild as May. So they prance and they dance and we'll all be gay. But they pour too much red water in his glass. The lawyer's a fine man, ha, ha, ha. He lives in the big house yonder. But the will, aha, the will.
Go home, Agnes. Go home.
Home? I saw a little wren yesterday. The eggs were so pretty, so beautiful. Rough Robin of the mill came this morning and stole them. She went to her nest and looked in. They were gone. She chirped mournfully and flew away. She won't go home anymore.
Agnes, who let you out? You distress the whole village with your muttering and singing. I'll have you taken care of.
Did you know there's to be a wedding in the village today? I saw the coffin full of wedding cake. I should have been married, but my wedding dress was all covered with mildew. They say I am mad, and he won't come again. Am I mad? Am I? But the will, old man, ha ha ha, the will, ha ha ha.
Ah, confusion. Get you gone, or thus I know.
Smack my little half-breed sister, Woody. You black varmint.
I'll be revenged for this if there's law or justice. A plain case of assault and battery. I'll have you in prison. I'll put you behind bars.
I'll put E in the duck pond if I sees E to my sister again. I promise E.
Break and turn and start yourself with a slippery asphalt.
Oh, my dearest Mary, now you are my very own. Words are too poor, too weak to express the joy, the happiness that inflates my heart. May each thought wishes day that dawns upon thy future, but add another flower to the rosy garland now encircles thee.
Thank you, Edward, my own beloved husband.
Mary, my child, your happiness sheds its rays on young and old alike. Young man, I was at your father's wedding. May your life be like his, an existence marked by sobriety and honor. May you live in happiness the rest of your days.
Little hope of that, I dare swear, if my plan goes smoothly.
I can't bear it a moment longer. My beloved Edward married to that stupid Mary Wilson. But they'll live to regret this day. Just you wait and see. I'll get my own back.
My dearest children, this is a festival of joy. Be happy, I entreat you.
Well, dang me, if there be any folks here happy to win him down, I reckon I'd like to meet him.
But not for long. Not for long.
Come, lads and lasses, youngins and old ones alike. Let's cheer the happy couple on their way.
Annual harvest home. Not that I make a habit of going to such vulgar affairs, you understand.
Certainly not. Certainly not.
Well, I was overpersuaded. I bound up 2 stooks of corn.
Indeed? That may be a matter of vital importance. I'll make a note. You're sure it was but 2 stooks?
Oh, yes, Squire, 2 stooks. Well, as fate would have it, the second of the 2 stooks I bound was the last to be bound on the farm. And so, as fate would have it, I must be kissed. Well, you can imagine my mortification to learn that thus was the invariable rule, the custom at harvest homes.
Your suffering must have been intolerable.
Oh, sir, you know how to feel for delicate timidity. Well, this big, coarse young man named Arthur Bullock rose up to snatch the fragrance from my unwilling cheek. I put up my kerchief, 'twas a fine linen, Squire, saying, I have something to say in this affair, looking directly at Edward. whom I took to be a gentleman, you know. Well, Edward took the hint immediately. Bullock fell back, appalled at my manner. And Edward, oh, sir, spare me my blushes.
Go on, tell me.
He did it. I felt the pressure of his warm lips upon
Your cheek, of course.
Oh, no, sir. As the poet says, 'twas from my lips he stole the ambrosical blisses.
Enormous.
Well, the sun that sat on that terrible day was hardly more red than my burnished cheek.
I am not sure, Miss Spindle, but that we might make a case of assault and battery.
Well, it was a very rude thing for a young man of his breeding and education to do. Well, after that, he bowed to me one morning while coming out of church.
Aha! The evidence comes in. Have you any proof of that most injured fair one?
Well, no proof would be required. A person of my immaculate reputation need hardly offer any proof of what they know.
Well, I would not be too sure of that, Miss Spindle. Have any letters passed between you?
Oh, yes, sir. 5 or 6.
Splendid. We've got him there. If Miss Spindle would be so condescending as to show me just one of those letters.
Oh, but he has them all.
Horrible. How did he get possession of those letters?
Well, I sent them. First by one person and then by another.
But how, madam? His letters, how...
Well, mark you his ingratitude, sir. I must have sent him half a dozen.
Yes?
And not one letter did I get in return.
You mean to tell me that the correspondence was all on one side, then?
Oh, yes, think of it. All my affection, all my adoration. Oh, Edward, as the immortal bard has said, thou hast sliced my heart in twain.
And he is an immortal bore if ever I met one. Good day, Miss Spindle. I've just recalled a most pressing engagement for which I am already several minutes late.
But, Squire, my legal case, how should I proceed?
You really want me to tell you, Miss Spindle?
Oh, yes.
Then I would suggest that you proceed along the upper lane until you reach Farmer Thompson's big meadow.
Yes.
Then walk across to his farmyard.
Yes.
And when you get to his big green pond...
Yes.
Jump in, go down thrice, and come up but twice. Good day to you.
Shades of Lucretia Borgia. Dare he talk to a gentle lady like that? Squire Prince, I demand satisfaction. You come back here.
Good day to you, Mrs. C.
Good day, Mrs. Gates. Have you heard? I don't listen to tittle-tattle. What is it?
Not Mr. Edward.
Yes?
You said he was not in church on Sunday.
Never.
Oh, it's true enough.
Well, I'm right sorry. We used to consider Mr. Edward a most promising young man. And when we saw him married and settled in that cottage with his pretty young wife, we thought to have a most respectable neighbor, like his father. Like his father. But now, I earnestly hope he doesn't stick to those bad ways.
Those bad ways.
All right, don't exactly know what he means, Mr. Stevens. Mr. Edward is the same sweet, kind-hearted fellow he were 10 years ago when he got wed.
10 years ago when he got wed.
Why, bless me, this very morning he didn't tell I to go to Ned Grogan's and Taylor's and get I measured for new suit of clothes at his expense. Now if I, as is his foster brother, and sees things as he does, if I think well of him, I don't know how other folks need be so perpendicular about it.
Well, I'll tell you what I've heard.
Go on, then.
Squire Cribs says if your foster brother doesn't attend a little more to his own interest,
He'll do it for him, I suppose. Now, Mrs. Gates, if he wasn't a lady, I'd tell you what I thought of that cunning old fox of Squire Cribs. But as he's a lady, I mustn't tell, must I?
Indeed, no.
So I won't tell you that in my opinion is Mr. Everett's soul put in a great big box. The 7,000 souls like that there black beetles wouldn't fill up the spare room around the edges.
Wouldn't fill up the spare room around the edges. But for all that, William, I fear that young Mr. Edward is in very serious danger. They do say he goes from tavern to tavern, all over town. He spends his Sabbaths that way. Now, I don't say he drinks too much, but a great many started that way.
alas, yes.
Well, good day to you, and thank you.
Good day, William.
Good day, William.
I don't think Mr. Everett drinks too much. At least I hope not. For my part, I wish I'd never seen nothing stronger than milk or green tea. I wish I never met them two women. They make me feel as bad as ever. Just as I was thinking I was getting over it, starting to see daylight again. All the same, I reckon it'd be best let alone altogether. For they do say, if a man don't put his fingers into the fire, he does have a better chance of not burning them.
Frankie and Johnny were lovers. Oh, Lordy, how they could love. They vowed to be true to each other, true as the stars above. He was her man, but he done one day Johnny was missing. She wondered where can he be. They promised to meet at 11, and she waited round to see. He was her man, but he done her wrong. Frankie went down to the corner, sat down and ordered a beer. She said to the smiling bartender, as my loving man came, he was her man, but he done her wrong. Frankie went past a hotel, looked in a window so high. There saw her loving Johnny, making love to Alice Sly. He was her man, but he done her wrong. Johnny saw Frankie a-comin', down the back stairs he did scoot. Well, Frankie, she pulled out her pistol, man, that gal could shoot. She shot her man, 'cause he done her wrong. One day the judge told the jury, folks, it's as plain as can be. This woman has shot her lover, and that's murder first degree. She shot her man, 'cause he done her wrong. Frankie, she went to the big chair, as calm as a lady could be, and turning her eyes up, she whispered, Lord, I'm coming up to thee. I shot my man, 'cause he done me.
Try another pint of beer, landlord.
And how are you going to pay for it?
Same as I always does. Just you write it down on the slate.
The slate's full up, Sam Renslaw. It's covered from top to bottom with your name. Rub off those scores and I might think of it. In the meantime, you can save your breath and ask me for more in this house.
Got to be a fine thing when a decent man can't get no credit in the house he nigh on lives in, that'll do.
Give me some brandy. This is something superior. A bottle I keep for those who are willing to pay a bit more. Are you quite well? Oh, well, quite well, thank you. This is good. Another glass, if you please.
Aha! Who do we have here? Why, Mr. Middleton. Now to arrange his downfall. Why, Mr. Middleton, delighted to see you. First time I was ever in here, except on business, of course. Your first time, too, I'll be bound. Of course. Of course. Why, this is fine. What, now that we've met each other, we'll honor the house. What say you?
Squire, how are you? Glad to see you. What'll it be, gentlemen? The same Mr. Middleton? I beg you to excuse me, but as you know, I have just drank, and never do I allow more than 2 glasses to pass my lips in a single day. In that way do I remain within the bounds of sobriety. Why, Squire, it must be 10 years or more since I last saw you. Do you remember the occasion?
I cannot say that I do.
But you must remember, Squire. I saw you digging behind that tree, and I asked you what you were burying. Oh, what is it? Are you ill?
Only the cramp. I'm subject to it. How much does the fool suspect? Come, let's drink, Edward. And I refuse to take no for your answer.
I cannot. I must. Oh, take a little more, Mr. Middleton. The Squire wouldn't advise you as to what wasn't right.
Here's whiskey. Good whiskey.
But I drank... Mr. Middleton drank brandy before.
Not half so healthy as good whiskey.
But
What's the matter with you, man? Are you afraid?
Afraid? I? Whiskey, be it. It can't be any stronger than the other was. Very well then, gentlemen. 2 measures of the best whiskey.
Thank you, landlord.
Thank you. Oh, why, this is good. Goes to the right spot, eh, Cribs?
Here, here.
Here, here.
Aha. Now is he on the road to ruin. He had the taste for drink already. He needed but a gentle push to send him tottering over the edge of sobriety into the abyss of dipsomania. But your drink is empty. Let me get you another.
Oh, why not?
Why not, indeed? Landlord, fill my friend's glass. Wait, I'll purchase the bottle.
As you say, Squire. Thank you kindly.
We'll drink the health of all our friends.
To all our friends. You are my friend, Cribs. I've never doubted it.
Never.
Come, let's have some more whiskey, Cribs. More whiskey.
In a moment or two, I still have this one yet unfinished.
Oh, come, a bumper. Here's to the health of my old tried friend, Cribs.
To my old friend, Edward.
Cribs. Come, let's have another horn. Why don't you join us, old salty?
I drinks when I dry. Good English beer, I drinks. You can keep your spirits and such like.
You're saucy, old fellow. That's what you are.
And you be making a fool out of yourself. That's what you be doing.
A fool? Say that again and I'll knock you down, you fool.
I have nothing to say with you. Be off, you're drunk.
Drunk! Death and fury!
Just as I planned. So far, my scheme is working perfectly. Now he's lost. Lost.
Take that! It's not my fault, landlord. He asked for that.
The house was quiet enough till he came in disturbing honest people. This is too bad. How to get this fellow home?
Mr. Middleton, I have a message for you. Where be he? Lordy, what be this? I'll take your part, that I will.
Let go my throat!
Who did it? Tell I!
It wasn't me! It was Sal
All right, I'll let you off this time.
Oh, Edward, there be blood on your forehead. Speak to me. Speak to me.
Oh. What is this?
You do not know why? If you William, come to help you home.
Oh, now I think I remember. Where's Cribs?
Cribs?
Were he here?
Yes, the squire was here for a short while. Can you walk, sir? Oh, yes, I think I can walk. Oh, what's the matter with my head? Blood.
Come along home, Mr. Edwards. Come along home.
Drunk. 5 miles to die.
So far, my scheme has worked admirably. Day by day, he sinks deeper and deeper into the gulf of despair and ruin. He has fallen, fallen down so low. He has fallen, I won't let him go. He might What a wicked thirst. He is drinking, drink that's on his worth. He is wretched, what a wicked thirst. He is wretched, drink has done its work. He has fallen, he'll be at my feet. He has fallen, our revenge is sweet, our revenge is sweet. Who is this approaching? William Doughton. I will retire and find what he is about.
Ah, me. Poor Mr. Everett has been drinking. Again. Ever since that day when he had the fight in the inn with Old Sand, he'd be a proper devil for the drink. And that'd be a fact. I just lost count of number of times I had to carry you home. And poor Mrs. Wilson takes on so cruel, too. Ah, here he comes. I'll hasten on. For if he see I, he'd be angry. Swear I'd be watching him.
I'm much obliged to you. Ah, here comes Middleton. Caution.
Is this to be the issue of my life? Ever since that dreadful day in the inn when that scoundrel Chris tempted me, have I been lost. How my brain burns. My hands tremble. My knees shake beneath me. I cannot. I must not appear before them thus. A little, a very little, will revive and strengthen me. No one sees. William will be there. Now for the hiding place. So it relieves, it strengthens.
Glorious. As I suspected, he is a secret drinker.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful liquid. Why did I rail against thee? Gone. All gone. No matter, I can face it now. Cribs here? Confusion. I have not set eyes on him since that dreadful day in the inn.
Why, Edward, my dear friend, my old friend, what means this?
Tempter, be gone! Were not you there on the day I started on the road to ruin? Did you not you desert me? And have not I led a life of utter wretchedness ever since?
As certain as I am an honest man, I know not what you mean. Business called me out. I left you jovial and merry with your friends.
Friends? Ha! The drunkard's friends? Well, you may speak truth. My brain wanders. Misery. Would that I were dead.
Oh, come now. A young man like you should not think of dying.
You are a single man, Cribs. You know not what it is to see your little patrimony wasted away. To be the cause of sufferings you would die to alleviate.
Whew. Suffering. Your cottage is worth plenty of money. Why, just the other day, Farmer Benson was inquiring as to how much it could be bought for.
What for? Cribs,
Well, Edward? Well?
Do you see yon smoke curling up among the trees?
Why, yes, it rises from yon cottage.
Do you know who lives there?
Why, you do.
And who else?
Your family, to be sure.
And you advise me to sell it. You want me to take that warm nest from that morning bird and her child, to strip them of all that remains of hope or comfort. And for what? To put a little pelf into my leprous hands, and then to squander it on drink.
But you do not understand me. Believe me, I am your very sincere friend.
Leave me, leave me.
But where would you go thus, Edward?
Home to my sorrowing wife, her dying mother, and my poor child.
But not thus, Edward. Not thus. Come to my house. We'll go in the back way. No one will see. I'll give you a little something to refresh you. I'll take care. It shall not hurt you.
Ought I, dare I? Shall I go? Shall I? They say no. Is it indeed best?
To be sure it is. If the neighbors saw you thus, it would not be for the best. Come, I'll take care of you. And have brandy. Good brandy. Now he's lost.
Heaven aid me, strengthen me. Much I fear my poor suffering mother won't last through the night. And Edward comes not. And when he does arrive, how will it be? Oh, misery, the agony of suspense is too horrible.
Dear mother, what makes you cry? I feel so sorry when you cry. Don't cry anymore, dear mother.
Hush, child, hush.
When I see you cry, it makes me cry. Will it make father cry too, dear mother?
Hush, child, he's unhappy enough already.
Yes, poor father. I cried last night when he came home and I said, oh, he looks so bad. What makes him ill so often, dear mother?
Hush, dear one, hush.
And dear Grandma's so sick too. The doctor and her school both look so sorry. Will Grandma go to heaven tonight?
Father of mercies, this is too much. Be very quiet, Julia. I'm going to go see poor Grandma.
Poor dear mother. When Grandma dies, she'll go to heaven. I am sure, for she is good.
Julia, where be thy mother, darling? Here she is. How be poor Mrs. Wilson?
Near the end of all earthly trouble, William. What brings you here? Have you brought tidings of my Edward?
Hey, I found him. He were in the village. I says to him, come on home, Mr. Edward. Come on, but he says how he wants to walk home by himself.
Faithful friend. Was he... Oh, what a question for a doting wife. Was he sober, William?
I cannot tell a lie. I reckon it's how he had one or two, but he'll be fit as a fiddle by morning. Just you see if he ain't.
Sharing.
Merciful heavens, what is that?
Why, I've had a glorious time, Bill. I'm
Hush,
Bill.
dearest, hush.
Why should I be quiet? I'm no
My
child.
mother, Edward. My poor mother.
Oh, I forgot. Poor woman, how is she?
Worse, Edward. Worse.
Am I the cause? Oh, wretched vice.
Father, dear father.
Leave me, child. I'm hot enough already.
What was that?
What I see, I
No,
reckon...
stand up, William. Much I fear I know what's bidden thee. Edward, my mother.
Dead?
Dead.
And I'm the cause. I cannot bear this. Let me fly.
Edward, do not leave me. Do not leave me.
I must go. Loose me.
I will work, I will slave, I will do anything, but do not abandon me in my misery, my love, my husband.
Call me not husband. Rather curse me as your destroyer.
William, hold him.
Edward, dear brother.
Father, your father. He is you. And oh,
me at last. Farewell forever.
Edward! Mother!
Next, we're going to hear from a young lady that has been tipping the ivories all night, but she's going to do a change of pace, and she's going to sing a song for us about pity a poor girl. Happy Zorn. Pity.
Dressed in her very best gown, pity an innocent maiden, pity a girl up in town. It's really not safe for a girl such as me, for down every alley a waiting men you see, and though I might scream to my very last breath, they'd whisk me away to a fate worse than death. Pity a girl up in Oakland, dressed in her very best gown. Pity an innocent maiden, pity a girl up in town. Pity a girl up in Oakland, dressed in her very best gown.
Isn't she sweet? Now we'll go on with the play and see what the dastardly villain has got planned.
Now I wonder where that drunken vagrant can have wandered. Ever since he came to this city, thanks to his insatiable thirst and my industrious agency, he has been going downhill rapidly. Could I but tempt him to some overtax, I could line my pockets and ensure his ruin. Why, here he comes now. He looks most wretchedly. Money all gone, and no honest way to raise it. He'll be glad to speak to old Cribs now. Why, Mr. Middleton, is that you?
Yes, Cribs, what there is left of me.
You do not appear much altered.
Ah, Cribs, I am lost, a ruined, broken-hearted man.
Well then, allow me to lend you $1 or $2. Before sundown, he'll be a few yards nearer his grave. Here, take it. Take it.
Thank you, Cribs, thank you. Are you but recently from the village?
This very morning.
I hardly dare ask if you've seen them.
Your wife and child? Ah, they are doing charmingly. Since you left, your wife has taken in plenty of sewing. The gentlefolk are interested in her pretty face, and she is as merry as a cricket, and your little girl blooming as a rose and brisk as a bee.
Then Mary is happy.
Happy as a lark. Little does he know that she is nigh to starvation, that she has come here to search for him, and is living in a miserable garret. She is radiant. Radiant.
I am glad, though she thinks of me no more.
Ah, yes, she thinks of you from time to time.
Does she indeed?
Yes, I am sure she thinks of you, and would be glad to see you become once more a respectable member of society.
'Tis very kind of her. Ah, but Cribs, how can a man become respectable without a penny in his pockets?
Now for the moment I have planned for so long. Now to use this wretched man for my own purpose and secure his final downfall. Do you see this paper?
Yes, what is it?
It is a check for $1,000.
$1,000? But I don't understand.
I will explain. Now I know you are a most excellent penman. Write upon this check the name Samuel Renslaw, and henceforth you may laugh at poverty.
Forgery?
An ugly word, my dear Middleton. An ugly word. Shall we say a little deception with the aid of the pen?
Call it what you will. It is nothing less than forgery and iniquitous crime. And against whom? Sam Renslaw, the noble philanthropist, the poor man's friend, the orphan's benefactor. Out and out on you for a villain and a coward. Wretch as I am, take back your base bribe, miscalled charity. The maddening drink I should purchase with it would reek.
Ah, you say that now in the heat of your passion, but you'll think better when you find yourself starving.
Has it come to this, then? An object of pity to my once adored wife. Others have fully made up my loss. Well, I am literally starving. But one resource. I must have drink. I must have drink. Ah, but how to purchase it? Ah, my handkerchief. It will give me a drink or two.
Plague take the scoundrel. Now, who would have thought he would have been so foolishly conscientious? but I cannot abandon my scheme on the House of Rensselaer. The speculation is too good to be lost. I must pen the check myself and trust that the deception will pass unobserved. Why, as I live, here comes that old fool, Miss Spindle. What can she be doing in this city?
This is the most awful town I was ever in to find one's way around. Why, it's all ups and downs and ins and outs. I've been looking for the cathedral for 2 hours, and I haven't seen it yet.
Why, angelic Miss Spindle, how do you do? How long have you been in this great metropolis?
Oh, Squire Fritz, what an awful place this is. It's nothing like the village, and I can hardly wait to get back there. I've seen some terrible things here, I can tell you. Terrible.
Indeed, it is a den of all the vices. Not at all a good place for innocent, good-living people like you and me.
Quite. By the by, Squire, what has become of the Middletons? She left the village some months ago.
I've had my eye on them, never fear. They are down, Miss Spindle, down, never to rise again. As for that vagabond Middleton...
Oh, Squire, what an escape I had. How fortunate that I was not ruined by the nefarious influence of his seduction. How fortunate that trim Mary Wilson was the object of his hideous art, rather than my virgin, immaculate innocence.
Quite. And I'll tell you another thing about Miss Mary Wilson, or Mrs. Edward Middleton as she is to her cost. She is here, in this city.
No.
Indeed she is. The foolish girl declared that she would sooner follow her drunken husband than remain where she was without him.
Oh, she is low, degraded. Why, did you know that she actually stooped to taking in washing to feed herself and her child? And is she with him now?
No, she has been unsuccessful in her search. But I know where he is. It's but a few moments since I parted company with the wretched man.
Really?
Yes, and I know where she is living. I must pay her a visit soon. Which way did you say you were going? To the cathedral? Allow me the exquisite honor of escorting you there. Your arm, lovely and immaculate Miss Spindle. They say the old fool is loaded with money. If I play my cards right, I may extort some from her.
Alas, it's very cold. My face with hunger. I'm sick and heart-weary with wretchedness, fatigue, and cold. 1 o'clock and my work not near finished.
Mother, dear mother, I'm so cold. No, you keep the shop. You were cold too.
Poor Julia, she sleeps so soundly. bless me, preserve me to my poor Edward, and I will endure every ill heaped upon me.
Your pardon for my intrusion at this hour. But friends are welcome at all times and seasons, eh? So, you persist in remaining in these miserable quarters. When last I spoke with you, I advised a change.
Do you know my wretched reasons for remaining here? But what brings you at this strange hour? Have you brought joyful tidings of my Edward?
I must persist in it. You would do well to remove elsewhere.
Return to the village I will not. I will remain and find my husband.
This is a strange infatuation. He has others to console him, whose soft attentions he prefers to yours.
What mean you, sir?
That there are many women, not of the most respectable class, who are more than willing to receive presents from wild young men, and are not very particular in the liberties that may be taken in exchange.
Sir, you slander my husband. It is because he's poor, forsaken, reviled, and friendless, and thus I seek him and love him still.
Tut, tut. You are very proud, considering all circumstances. But come, I forgive you. You are young and beautiful. Your husband is a vagabond. I am rich. I have a true affection for you. And with me...
Unhappy, you wretch!
Nay, then, proud beauty, you shall know my power. 'Tis late. You are helpless, unfriended, and thus...
Help! Mercy, I'm undone!
Be off, you bomber, before I make mincemeat out of you.
I'll be revenged for this if there's a law in this land.
I'll get out before I knock you down again.
Let me warn you, I am a man who...
You, a man? Nature made a blunder, I reckon. Get out! Well done. did not like to hit him before you, but I reckon as he went down them stairs, a fair sight quicker than he came up them.
Dear kind William, what brings you here so opportunely?
Well, just going to my better lodging house nearby when I happened to mention the landlord about it. And would he believe it? He knew where he was. So come along with Mr. Milton and bring the youngin' with you.
Faithful friend, how can we thank you?
Unknown you for that, to be certain.
What brings you here, William?
Well, I'd look for you, Mr. Middleton, of course. I come along with I back to my lodging. When I get me safely there, I'll continue my search for thy husband. Just be rest assured, I'll find thy husband if I can search the length and breadth of this town.
Heaven bless you and preserve my poor dear Edward.
Where am I? Oh, I wonder if people dream after they're dead. Oh, hideous, hideous early morning. Oh, for some brandy, whiskey, rum, anything. I'm not so ashamed, so stricken with despair when I'm drunk. Oh, the pain. What sweet is this? Oh, brandy, landlord, brandy.
Where in nature can my horse be gone?
Hello, landlord, I say.
What's that? As I live, if it isn't that reprobate Middleton, I will pretend I do not observe him.
Wait, landlord. Oh, I know you. We've been acquainted before now. Mr.
Zounds, he knows me. Yes, we were acquainted once, but that was in other days.
You are the same being still, though I am changed. Miserably changed. You still sell whiskey, don't you?
I am a respectable landlord.
Respectable? Ha! You speak as if you weren't the common poisoner of the entire village. Am not I too respectable?
Not according to present appearances. What's brought you to such beastly condition, young man?
Why, you and demon drink! My brain is on fire! Give me whiskey!
How can I give you whiskey? My inn is 30 miles from here. I'm going to visit to the city to see my sister. Let me go, vagabond.
Nay, I beseech you, give me some whiskey. Whiskey or I'll throttle you.
Help! Murder! I'm choking! Help!
Lordy, what be this? Why, it be Mr. Edward. I have found at last. Praise be to heaven. But what be he doing? Edward?
You shall pay for this, you vagabond. You shall pay for this.
Here, friend. Take it off, won't you? These sticks! Oh, how they coil up, they're so strong! No, don't kill it! Give it whiskey! Poison it with brandy! That would be judicious punishment!
He do not know I. He be quite helpless and